Gordon with Film Courage, the radio show. We are here with Mr. Bob Moz, VP of ProViz at Topspin Media, and the wonderful Sheri Candler, Marketing and Publicity Specialist.
Yes.
And we had filmmaker Chris Jones on our show last week, and he talked about social media possibly being the emperor's new clothes, that maybe it was really just a waste of time for anyone trying to build an audience. Curious, what's your take on that?
Do you want to start?
Yeah,
No, you should start.
I'll go first. Most definitely not. And Chris Jones knows that himself because he's done nothing for the last year or two in building an audience for himself using blogs, using social media, not using advertising, not using the old traditional methods. So I think more his concern was, how can I take an audience of a few thousand and turn them into 4 million? Can you do that with social media? No, I don't think that you can. But I don't think that independent film is going to have audiences of 4 million people. That's a widespread mass commodity, and that's not what independent film is. So if that's your goal, to reach 4 million people, you need to go in the studio system and get going on that. And they spend millions of dollars to reach as many people and make very mass market films, not particularly creative, sometimes creative, but that's not their goal, to be creative. It's to service the wide audience. Social media is used to form relationships individually. You can't form a relationship with 4 million people, but you can with a few thousand people. Very engaged, very evangelistic, rabid fans. You can't get that from advertising, one-way communication. The way you communicate with them is through these channels, through your blogs, through your social media pages, through Twitter. That's how you build a relationship. And it's not going to be robotic. It's not going to be one way. That's what you use it for. And if you don't use it for that, then you're wasting that tool. You're using it improperly, and you won't build an audience by using it as an advertising platform.
Well, there's probably a little bit of a difference in how you use the term social media too, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, do I have to tweet? Do I have to use Twitter? Do I have to have a Facebook page? And the answer is no. Of course you don't, right? Like, the way to think about it is social media is about using the web to have people who like your content tell other people who might like your content about your content, right? It's about how does your fan become a marketer for you, right? That's really all you have to think about. You have to say, okay, look, do I have tools in place where someone who loves my artwork, that person is empowered to tell as many people as they're connected to about my work, right? So a practical example, right? You can use Facebook as a practical example. The Facebook news feed is basically everyone you're connected to recommending things to you, right? So if someone that you're friends with on Facebook sees a film and likes it and makes a post about it, they've just told everyone that they're connected to, 500, 600 in some cases people, hey, I really enjoyed this film. That piece of marketing, right, and it is marketing, right, that is an ad impression, right, if you think about it, is way more valuable than, did I see the billboard on Ventura Boulevard as I drove by, or did I see the ad in the airport on the, as I was going down the moving walkway, right? Because what happened is that's a trusted source. It's somebody that you know, who you trust, whose taste you know, says to you, I saw this thing, it was great, right? Word of mouth advertising has existed since the dawn of products, right? In the cave, there was the guy with the big rock and the little rock, and the big rock worked better for smashing stuff than the little rock did. And so he told everybody and showed them how much better it worked, and everybody used the big rock, right? That's word of mouth advertising. So if you replace word of mouth advertising with social media in Chris's comment, I think you end up with a very, very different sort of automatic reaction to it, right? No one would ever say, is word of mouth advertising worth paying attention to or worth investing time and effort in, right? Word of mouth advertising is the most powerful, valuable long-term kind of advertising and promotion that you can get, right? No, there's nothing more powerful than someone telling you about your product and that they love it. So these services, Facebook, Twitter, individual blogs, MySpace, anything where people connect, right, where people connect with each other online, is just really efficient word of mouth communication, right? I can now, whereas 2 years ago I wasn't connected to my the girl I dated in high school online, right? Now I can give her record recommendations without even having to think about, am I giving them to her? I can give them to 700 people at once and be done. This album's great, you should hear it. That's what the social media services are about. So if a lot of people create a big mass on Facebook, and people who are in your audience that you're trying to reach have congregated there, you should probably be there, right? And you should, but you don't need to be there broadcasting your updates. What you need to be doing is being there, engaging in the conversation, and facilitating them talking to each other about your artwork. I mean, is that
right?
I mean, you recommend that,
no,
right?
That's what I recommend. Yeah, I mean, the word of mouth sometimes only goes.